we were definitely in the right place, in the right time, with the right skills. This is how we do things. We don't A/B test. We just release it and we watch what happens. Focus more on being there for people when they need us.
If you could be Ahrefs CEO,
I would run the company to the ground probably.
Hey, awesome people! Welcome to Bootstrap Stories, the only podcast where founders of bootstrap companies share in all transparency the ups and downs of their journey. Starting a business comes hand in hand with loneliness, the pressure of not being successful, and overall, lots of challenges. After meeting with hundreds of entrepreneurs in the past years, I figured out that we all have struggles and make lots of mistakes when building a business. But the truth is that most people are afraid to share this publicly. That's what motivated me to start this podcast, to show that we're all on the same journey, facing the same struggles, and to give energy to all entrepreneurs worldwide to continue their adventure. Even if sometimes it can be really challenging and we often feel like giving up, in the end, it's all worth it. Today, my guest is Tim Soulo, Chief Marketing Officer at Ahrefs. Hi, Tim, and welcome to Bootstrap Stories.
Hey, Guillaume. Thanks a lot for inviting me. Did I pronounce your name right this time?
Yeah.
we practiced a bit before recording.
Yeah, that was perfect. And before getting into like the deeper discussion, I want to give a quick overview of what we're going to address. In the first part of the podcast, I want to find out really like the unconventional approaches and growth hacks that helped Ahrefs reach $100 million in annual recurring revenue. Next, we will talk a bit about your strategy and challenges of building a marketing team, especially for an 8-figure company like yours. And in the last part, I want really like to find out your top learnings so we can all learn from your experiences as in one of the most successful bootstrap companies in the world. Are you excited about it?
I am.
Awesome. So before we jump into like the building part, what was the annual recurring revenue of Ahrefs when you joined Dimitri back in 2015?
I actually asked him this question earlier this year. I don't think he remembers or I remember. I think it was somewhere less than $10 million per year, but let's say around that. So maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I think it was somewhere around that.
Nice. And we had a chat like recently on Messenger. You were telling me like you were close to 100 million. Have you crossed it?
Yeah. Not yet, because of the pandemic and such, and some changes in our space, and some changes in our priorities as well.
Okay.
We weren't able to get it yet, but we're still on it. So I think once it happens, we're going to, I don't know, to do some public articles or something to announce that we've reached that milestone.
Nice. I'm sure it will be live once the podcast got live. And how many people in total in the company?
As of today, I think it's something between 70 and 80.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure because like we hire some people are leaving, so I don't like open the team page every day, but it's still fairly small. Fairly small.
I mean, I think your revenue per employee must be like the highest one in the bootstrap space.
It's I think it's above 1 million.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. And what were like the 3 things that help you to grow really like to $100 million in the last 10 years?
So I don't think that I can name a lot of things that other people can relate, because at the end of the day, a lot of success depends on being in the right place in the right time. So I would say that we were definitely in the right place, in the right time, with the right skills. But if I had to name a list of things that helped us to get where we are, let me first say that they're not in the order of importance, because I'm not sure like what kind of importance I should assign to each of them. But the first thing is definitely the technical background of our founder. it helped us a lot because from the day I joined and started talking to customers, what I understood is that we got lots of praise and lots of industry respect for the quality of our data. Because I believe back in the day when Ahrefs just started as a backlink tool, the product didn't have much functionality other than backlinks, showing you your backlinks. But as far as I remember, we were the only tool that was updating our backlink index daily, maybe even hourly, while, for example, companies like Moz only updated their index once per month. And sometimes they even had issues when they had to do their monthly update. Something would go wrong and they would postpone it. And sometimes their index would have no updates for 2 months, 3 months. I don't remember. But yeah, we had the technical superiority thanks to the technical background of our founder and our incredibly talented CTO. I think that played a very important part, because if you can show to the market some clear differentiation, what makes you the best in something, and if it is easier to articulate, you get a backlink and the next day it appears in the tool. It is easy to see, and no other tool shows you. That's a clear differentiation. I think that played a pretty important part. Another thing, I wouldn't say it's the second thing, I'm just saying it's another thing, is that we had opportunity to get search traffic. So it's kind of meta, but SEO is the industry where people want to learn. So we have lots and lots of different topics that people are searching for in Google. So we have the kind of product where people have lots of questions: how to rank in Google, how to build backlinks, how to do keyword research, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of search traffic potential that we can get on our website for free by creating content. Not every company, not every SaaS company is in this situation, because some of them are solving problems that people don't know they have. So in this situation, it's very hard to get relevant search traffic and convert it into your product, where people just don't search for the things that your company does. So we were again in a lucky position where we had an abundance of search traffic to have. And we also had some competitors who in a way paved the way for us. So there was Majestic, a company that was providing a link index. There was Moz, that was a suite of tools. They had a few different SEO tools. There was SEMrush. I think those were the big three in the days. So while we did have a few companies that were already creating the market for us, and we didn't have to explain what is an SEO tool, what is a backlink tool. So they already did a lot of the groundwork. We didn't have to create the market ourselves. At the same time, I think we were lucky in a way, because two of those companies kind of stagnated. I'm not sure if I can go deep into commenting on the failures of our competitors, but I think that we were in a way lucky that we were essentially left with just one competitor. So right now the market is mostly divided between the two tools, Ahrefs and the SEMrush, and I think it also played a role in our growth that we didn't have enough competition. Right now, the competition is catching up, because Ahrefs and the SEMrush and Moz, we are toolkits. So we have a bunch of tools packaged in one, while we see more and more companies launching dedicated tools, and they're eating a piece of the pie. They are cutting a piece of the pie. Still, I think the market is growing, so there's still quite a bit of opportunity for everyone. But I feel it is getting harder than it was a few years ago, when there were just essentially just four of us: Majestic, Moz, SEMrush, and Ahrefs. And then Majestic and Moz weren't as active as the remaining two. So I think it played a part. So yeah, quite a few factors. Not sure that people can relate to all of them, but maybe people can relate to some of them. Look at their competition, look at the market, look at the talents of the founding team, look how to differentiate themselves in the market, and if they can leverage the free SEO traffic.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. So to sum it up a bit, it's really great differentiator on the product side, So making sure to have a clear differentiator from day one on your product. If you can be technically superior, like that's pretty awesome. And that's, I think, what you guys did with the quality of the data. Then the part about the content, I think what was really interesting in what you said is that lots of people get scared when you have big competitors on a market because they think like it might be too crowded or the market is already addressed. But what you did actually was quite smart is look at what all the competitors have done and where were they getting, like the juice, the SEO juice, so like the search traffic. And based on that, you could essentially just be better at SEO, use your tool and become like a reference in the market. So that was really great. I also see that you invest a lot in content. I've seen that on your website. It's quite funny actually to see like, do not start this free trial unless you've read that content. So can you maybe dig a bit more into your content strategy?
Yeah, I think to the best of my knowledge, we are the only company, the only SaaS company in the world that right on their homepage, not far from the call to action says, don't take action unless you do this. And like the reasoning for this is simple. We do believe that a total newcomer, someone who doesn't know much about SEO and how our tools work, they will probably just waste their time by signing up because we currently have a 7-day trial. And if you don't know SEO, you won't be able to get any value from the platform in just 7 days. So this is why we offer you to not rush, to wait a little bit, to go read some of the content, watch some of our educational videos, understand the use cases, understand how to apply our software, understand how our software aligns with your goals and marketing objectives. And only then, once you have a to-do list in mind of things that you want to do once you get a trial of Ahrefs, then go and register a trial and start doing things. So this is why we have this funny phrase on our homepage. And as to the role of the educational content, I can tell you a story which I think was in a way determining in our marketing strategy. I'm not sure it was exactly the moment when I figured out that we have to invest in educational content, but it definitely contributed because I still remember this story. So it was not long after Dmitry is our CEO and founder, invited me to come to Singapore and join the headquarters, the team here. And I was the only marketer at the team at the moment. And I was mainly talking to our customers, engaging with people in the SEO and marketing community, trying to figure out what kind of tool we have, how it helps people, what people value in it, etc. And I cannot say that I myself understood the tool very well, like to 100%. So, and in the office, we had a Wacom tablet. It is for drawing. So one of the designers was using it to draw images. And it was left unattended. No one was using it for some reason. And my wife has some drawing skills and she wanted to try it. So I asked Dmitry, can I take this Wacom tablet home for my wife to check it out? Maybe we'll get one of these for her to do some digital drawing. He said, okay. And when I brought this tablet home, I connected it to the computer. I installed some software that you have to use in order, like some drivers or something. I figured out that neither myself nor my wife know how to use the tablet and know the software and what all these buttons mean and such. So what I did, I went to YouTube and I started searching for things like Wacom beginner tutorial or Wacom tips or how to get started. And I saw quite a few videos which were walking us through like the hardware and the software. And it was easy to replicate and we instantly started using it. That was a light bulb moment for me because I realized that some of the customers of Ahrefs are probably in the exact same situation with our software. So they know that it somehow helps them to get more traffic from Google, to optimize their websites, to do more effective and efficient marketing. but they don't necessarily know like which buttons to press and like where to go. So they would go to Google, they would go to YouTube, and they would search for tutorials. And those tutorials shouldn't even necessarily be about Ahrefs. So I was searching about using the tablet itself because I already had it. But for example, if I was earlier in the buyer's journey and I was just figuring out how to do some digital drawings, I would search for different things. But those things could eventually bring me to the product if that product would be creating those tutorials. So this was the light bulb moment. I understood that a lot of people are probably wondering, having questions about SEO, the same questions I had about digital pad for drawing. And this is how we started investing in educational content, and it paid off.
I think that's what's really interesting is that, you know, for example, if you take like just a new software on the market, it doesn't make sense for them to invest, you know, like such heavily at first, maybe because in your case, you had such a strong brand with the power of your product that you were getting tons of word of mouth from people telling you that Ahrefs was superior in terms of data quality. And then down the line, you decided to say, okay, fair enough. Like we know that people understand the power. And if you look at how many, like how the search traffic looks like on your website, we can see that the branded keyword, meaning like people typing things like Ahrefs, is quite huge, which means that a lot of people knows you as a brand. But the fact that you are like really pushing them into your content funnel because you know that they would get value out of it and really can understand better the product to achieve their objectives and goals. This is like really, really interesting. And going back to that trial, the free trial, I'm curious to see like, we see not too many like SaaS. There are a few doing like a paid trial. What was like is it something you A/B tested? Was it something you just like decided to say, hey, you know what? We're investing so much in support that we don't want all the cheap bastard coming around and just like using the software, creating accounts and just leaving. What was the idea behind it?
Yeah, so it was mostly the latter one, the second one. I wouldn't use the same language myself when speaking to our customers. But yeah, I actually smiled while you said A/B testing because we don't do any A/B testing at all. Okay. And we are pretty marketing analytics agnostic. We just think that some of the marketing campaigns and marketing activities that we're doing are almost impossible to properly track because they help our company in so many different ways. I actually did a Twitter thread on the topic of content marketing ROI, which I have pinned to my Twitter profile, and it got quite a bit of support, like likes and retweets. Because, like, for example, when you publish an article, it is not necessarily to rank in Google and get visitors and sales. It is also to educate your existing customers. And when you educate existing customers, you reduce churn, because if they learn about the capabilities of your software and start using it more, they don't cancel it. They might even upgrade. So you actually do account expansions if you educate your customers with your content. You also remove the strain from your customer support team, because the more your users know about your software, the less they ask questions to support. Then you have things like content helps you with that brand awareness, and people start searching for your brand more. Then you get backlinks, and those backlinks help you to rank for the keywords that you want. So marketing helps you on so many levels other than simply counting how many leads or how many customers you got from a certain ad or a certain article, that we don't really try to measure it. We think it is way more complicated, way too complicated. We would have to have, 10-person team just to properly track marketing analytics, and still even with 10 smart, dedicated people, that marketing analytics would still have many flaws. Yeah. So as for the thought process behind the trial, we had like incredible amount of abusers. I also vividly remember how it happened. We counted how many people are using the trial versus how many paying customers we had. And we realized that twice more people are using our paid trial at any point in time than we had paying customers. And that was a free trial. Sorry. So we had a free trial. You had to enter the credit card number, and you get full access to the. And we also had a trial for 14 days. So people were just signing up for new trials without becoming paying customer, because just twice a month you have to jump through a few hoops, and you get to use the software for free. So when we realized that twice as many people are using the trial as opposed to paying for the software, I came up to Dmitry and said, we should probably do something about this. And I offered, let's charge $1, and it should discourage many people who enter, I don't know, fake credit cards or empty credit cards or something. At least they would have to pay the $1. And Dmitry said, let's charge them $1 per day, and let's cut the trial for a week. And this is how $7 7-day trial came to be. Still, people are abusing it. So at this moment, we're actually thinking if we should just discontinue our trial, but we didn't yet figure out what we should replace it with. Because right now we have a freemium product. We're thinking maybe we should feature the freemium product instead. By the way, one interesting thing, very counterintuitive. So we originally had this $7 7-day trial button on our homepage, which was driving signups and conversions. And then we created this freemium product, which gives access to part of Ahrefs for free. And we promoted it separately. So we didn't feature it on our homepage because we were afraid that if we show people that we have a freemium product, they would just sign up for the freemium product and not go for the trial. So we had a separate landing page and we had separate marketing campaigns to promote it. And it was like a dedicated kind of customer acquisition channel. But then we thought, let's try to add a link to our freemium offering right next to the $7 trial button and see what happens. This is how we do things. We don't A/B test. We just release it and we watch what happens. It's actually A/B test. It's not parallel. It's kind of consecutive. So you see what was A, then you switch to B and you compare it retrospectively. So that's what we did. And an interesting thing is that even though the number of customers that we continued acquiring from trials went down to the point where we decided, we should probably remove the free offering because it is hurting our subscriptions. But when we calculated the subscriptions that are coming from the freemium product and added up the total, the sum of both actually appeared to be higher than just the trial button. So giving people options is not necessarily bad. A lot of conventional CRO, conversion rate optimization knowledge tells you that you should only have one call to action per page. You should focus people on the thing that you want them to achieve, but that's not necessarily true. So we're thinking that you might want to give different people different options. For example, if someone is interested in enterprise account, you should have a book a demo button or something. So to message to those listening to us, experiment. Don't just blindly believe to the conventional knowledge. Do a test, not necessarily A/B test. You can just release an update and see what happens and see how it works for you, because each company is different, each situation is different. So you have to try and see how what kind of impact it does on your bottom line.
I 100% agree with you, and it reminded me of our chat we had last time about tracking everything, and it basically there are two quotes that I like. One is from Gary V, who basically said what's the ROI of your mom? And to me, it's exactly the same with marketing. It's like your mom, she raised you, she helped you become a better man as you grow. And marketing, to me, it's the same. How do you measure? As you said, you could eventually have a team of 10 or 20 data analysts, etc., trying to build the best attribution model. But in the end, you don't really have the full picture, because there are so many things that take into account. And the other quote I like, and I think you're going to like it too, is people don't like data, they like guts, which means that, like a lot of people think that, it's super important, especially in the startup world. They push toward this data-driven mindset, which I think can be good to some extent. But, like in the end, they're going to go against their gut feeling just because data is telling them something. For example, I can give you like, we were starting an experiment we ran. We started to do like more inbound demos at Lemlist for people requiring it. And when we were checking like the conversion rate, like the conversion rate didn't change. So the thing is like, if you have this data, you can say, okay, I'm going to stop doing demos. But actually if you look like much deeper into the data, you realize that people stick longer, that they don't come to support that often, et cetera, and that you build a much better relationship. So to me, at some point, just follow your gut. If you feel like you are bringing value to your customers, then you should like focusing on this. And what I've seen, with how much you've invested in your support team, because I think right now, how big is the support team? It's like
it's fairly small. I think we have 2 people per 8 hours of time.
Okay.
So it's about 8 or 10 people total.
Okay, 8 or 10 people, but you have like very well structured like tooltips within Ahrefs, which is like quite amazing. I think it's one of the most well documented SaaS product we're using right now. So yeah, congrats on that.
Thank you.
And basically like there is a question I always ask during this series, which is about like fundraising. So you're in a huge market, you're growing like very rapidly. Have you ever thought about like fundraising or even doing an exit? Because I'm sure like you have a lot of companies that are reaching out to you for potential exit or mergers.
That is a question to Dmitry, not myself. I'm not the owner of the company. I'm just the head of marketing. So, but from my conversations with Dmitry, we obviously discussed that, and I've asked him this question many times on many occasions in different contexts. So the idea is Dmitry is very comfortable with running this business, and he doesn't see why he would want to sell it. So the business is growing, the business is profitable, and I believe our margins are quite good, given that we are not in the blitz scaling mode or like burning money mode where we have to grow at all costs. And Dmitry has a good profit margin, which he can reallocate to building another project, which is the search engine, which we announced some 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think recently Dmitry tweeted that we are approaching the stage where we are going to release public beta of the search engine. So yeah, Dmitry is not like, I guess he is the kind of person who likes to build cool things that would benefit people, that would benefit the society, that would benefit the internet, the web. And he likes running Ahrefs. He thinks that his work at Ahrefs is not over. There's still a lot that he can do. And I think maybe he also doesn't believe that someone else would be able to run Ahrefs better than he would. So in a way, this is not his words, these are mine. So in a way, I would think that we would do a disservice to Ahrefs customers if we would sell Ahrefs, and Dmitry won't be the one running it and overlooking the operations and ensuring the quality of data. Maybe some other company would just want to turn it into a cash cow and milk people for money, disregarding like everything we've built to date. So yeah, it's like your darling, your child. I think it's also makes sense. And yeah, like I said, there's no need. The company is very profitable. Dmitry is comfortable with what he has. He has enough money. So some people are selling their companies because they don't see how to move those companies forward, and they have like bigger, better ideas, and they need a big pile of cash to pursue those ideas. Kind of like the story of Elon Musk, right? They sold PayPal. He got millions of dollars. He started investing in those Tesla, Starlink, blah, 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 which he probably wouldn't be able to do with the profits that he was getting while he owned the company. The situation with our founder is different. He has enough profits to pursue his passion projects, his next project. So why sell? No reason to do it. And by the way, Ahrefs is actually a direct extension of the next project, which is a search engine. So basically, we have the search console, like Google Search Console is equals to Ahrefs. We just don't have our search engine yet. So those two projects are very connected between themselves. So yeah,
and I think what I really liked about Dimitri's, I think it was a thread maybe like where he explained like the project of the new search engine. I feel like there is, as you said, I think the highlight in your company is first how you treat your customers and your passion to educate them on a topic that is a bit complex. Like SEO is not something. It's something very in depth. It's a whole new world. It's like sales. You can say, okay, we send cold emails, but actually, if you go deep into psychological copywriting, etc., and for SEO, it's the same. Like you have a whole universe around SEO about how ranking, and I feel like you've done really like awesome job in all the content you've put and in the educational content. And when I was checking like Dimitri's post about like the new search engine, I feel like there is even something that is much more than just we're building a new product, but it's more like of a mission. The fact that he's thinking about the creator economy, the people who are working hard to make their articles rank on Google, but that in the end, with the way Google's like basically like put articles and also the way they display information and the fact that all the ads revenue goes to Google and not to the creators. I think there is even something even like not political, but a bit of a personal mission. Like, how do you feel about it? And are you also involved on this new search engine project?
So I'm not very much involved in this new search engine project because search engine is the kind of thing that you cannot really promote with SEO or ads. It's more kind of PR work. You release the project, you approach journalists, and it either does fly or doesn't fly. So or you keep pushing it. But I wanted to mention one other thing about Dmitry favoring the customers over profits, because we could be squeezing much more money out of Ahrefs if we wanted, but for ethical reasons, we don't do this. We don't like our marketing. Dmitry doesn't allow any tricks. Yeah. So a lot of marketers, they're looking for tricks. What kind of copywriting hacks I can use to kind of brainwash my people, my prospective customers, to make them buy, to make them stay, what kind of triggers. So Dmitry, he doesn't want people to sign up for Ahrefs because he has smart marketers who trick them into doing this. He wants people to sign up for Ahrefs because the product is helping them. So when you go to marketing conferences and you hear like how to optimize your, like, I don't know, onboarding, how to like move your button so that you would get more clicks, these are the things that are not being discussed in the marketing department of Ahrefs. We don't have any retargeting pixels on our website. Yeah. And a lot of people think that it is a huge missed opportunity. And I agree with them, because if you can retarget millions of people who are visiting your website, you can convert many more customers. I think if you...
Yeah, this part to me is a bit weird actually, because I know that you invest quite heavily in ads. So you're pushing, and the way you're doing ads is actually like... it's not pushy. I mean, it's the same. Like when you go on your website, there is no exit pop-up. There is no all these type of things. We don't force you to sign up, having all these like pushy marketing tactics, but you're still doing ads. So for me, I was always been curious about why not retarget people with educating content, because in the end, that's what you're doing.
So retargeting is an ethical thing. By putting the pixel on our website, we're feeding the data about our customers to those monopolies. Okay. And again, if you watch movies like Social Dilemma and like you dig into like what those companies are doing with this data, we basically don't want to participate in that. And in terms of running ads, actually, I just tweeted yesterday that this December, we are reallocating our paid traffic budget away from Google and Facebook and into the hands of creators. So our budget per month is about $200,000. And instead of paying them paying those money to Google and Facebook as we usually do, we decided that we're going to sponsor, I don't know, maybe 50 people, 100 people, and give this money into the hands of people in exchange for their, I don't know, reviews, shout outs, sponsorships, etc. And I think at this moment, this tweet got about like 200 retweets, 800 likes or something, and it's still rolling. People support this initiative. And I'm actually more and more, I'm starting to think that another thing that is in line with our ethics of doing marketing is doing less of what Seth Godin called interruption marketing, when people are enjoying Facebook, minding their own business, and you interrupt them with your ads. And doing more permission marketing, when they actually search for something and they appear. So probably going forward, we're also going to reallocate our budget away from interrupting people on those platforms and probably more towards PPC ads and more towards reaching people within our community. So for example, on the Facebook page, you have an option to reach people who already like you, your fans.
Yeah.
So, and even that probably will push back on this, because we want people to have peace of mind. We want like them to pursue what is important to them, not what is important to us. So going forward, we're also going to be rethinking our advertising strategy and focus more on being there for people when they need us, as opposed to stalking them everywhere and pushing them towards coming to Ahrefs.
No,
we need to make sure that it doesn't kill our business.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, because if it kills our business, all the paying customers who currently getting value from Ahrefs will not get this value. So we are interested to make sure we stay afloat. But we do want to have as much ethics in the way we do marketing and business as possible.
It's a really bold move, and I've seen you actually started to sponsor a bit more creative creators. I think you're sponsoring, for example, Harry from the Marketing Example, which is like really cool website, etc. Which means that basically you've tested a bit of sponsoring this type of content. Do you see a good ROI compared to ads? Can you measure it? Do you measure it, or?
With Harry, it's the most interesting story probably of our sponsorships. If you ever get interview with him, ask him about it. But with Harry, I saw his website. I saw what he's doing on Twitter. I realized that it's a young talent with lots of potential. And I just reached out and told him, hey, I see you have some ads on your website. I think he was promoting, I don't remember the name of the company. Anyway, I saw some kind of banners on his website and in his emails, and they said, we want to sponsor you. And he started telling me about what kind of email subscription, how many subscribers does he have, what's the open rate, how many clicks he can send. I was like, no, wait. Like, I don't really think that you at this point are able to make like a big difference in our flow. So just tell me like what kind of we agreed with him that I'm happy to sponsor him for a specific sum of money for kind of an indefinite period up until someone else outbids us.
Okay.
Without asking for anything in return. We never measured how many clicks he was sending. I just said, I want to support your work. I want you, like you have advertising. I want us to be associated with you because you're doing cool things. And they don't care like if it works or not. I just think that you're doing cool things though. So even if it doesn't directly have any impact on our bottom line, I still would be happy to do this. And I think we were, maybe even till today, we're sponsoring him. I don't even know. That relationship is so awkward because he would run his ads even if we don't pay for them. Okay. Then he would reach out and say, guys, like, I want to charge you for this month that I was promoting you. And for some subsequent ones, we're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it's more like of a friendly relationship rather than a business one.
Nice. So far, we've talked a lot about all the really cool things that you are doing and that is like working super, super well. In this podcast, something I also like to talk about are the tough times. So, like we all face ups and downs, and I feel like it kind of help us get motivation when we have other like top leaders sharing, like their downs. Have you what was the toughest times for you at Ahrefs, whether it comes to hiring, firing, or even like management or challenge, and how did you overcome them?
Hiring is a challenge always. We are now actively hiring. Hint, hint to whoever is listening. I'm actually today, just before talking to you, I was writing some job descriptions for more job openings. So by the time this podcast goes out, we'll have quite a few job openings on our website. Hiring is tough. Hiring right people is very tough. And then when you do hire a person and later on you realize that they're not a good fit and you have to part ways. And it's your, like, all of it is your responsibility. It was your responsibility to hire them. And now it is your responsibility to let them go so that they wouldn't drag the team back. Of course, and even as your team grows, I think the easiest times were when I was the only marketer in the team. It's somehow counterintuitive because lots of people say, I need to hustle so much, I need to work so much. But at least you plan your own days, you focus on the things that you think matter the most. But when you have a team, suddenly lots of other things appear. Some people don't get well between themselves. Some people lose motivation. Some people don't get proper instructions. And then they get frustrated at whoever gave them those instructions, and you have to resolve conflicts and blah, blah, blah. So lots of other dynamics happen in your life, and you have to be conscious of so many different things. Other than that, another like a blessing and the curse is the more exposure and popularity you get, the more careful you have to be with everything you say and do online. Because back in the day when I just started working at Ahrefs and we were fairly small, I could afford to do any controversial thing, whether it was funny or provocative or something, and it was okay. So people laughed together with us. People said, "Look at these guys; they're doing some crazy things," and we didn't really get any pushback. Right now, as we grew our brand and as I myself got some exposure, every little thing that I say incorrectly, even if I don't mean it, because as you can tell, and as you're not a native English speaker.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So sometimes when you say things, you don't phrase it well. It's not because you mean it. You just cannot pick the right words. And right now, when you have audience, when you have following, and people regard you as some sort of authority, suddenly they get offended by even the smallest things. And that
Do you have an example in mind of something that happened where you phrased it the wrong way and people took it?
Yeah. I have an example. I tweeted saying that this moment when you follow someone on Twitter for their professional knowledge, and then they start tweeting about politics, music, and all the unrelated personal stuff. And it was blown out of proportion. So I just
I agree with you, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of like in a way, I'm also thinking of myself, because I feel that some people in our industry, when they get a little bit of traction, a little bit of following, they start to feel like celebrities, and they feel like people follow them because they have interesting personality or whatever. But in my opinion, if you are promoting yourself as a professional, people follow you for your professional knowledge. So and I might not be right about it, but in my view, it's kind of arrogant to imply that people want to learn about your personal life. So maybe it's my Ukrainian upbringing speaking in me, and maybe just me. I want to be humble, and I want to stick to the things that people followed me for. People follow Tim as a professional, not for my personal life and learning about my kids and how like my relationships with my wife and like the movies I'm watching and stuff. Yeah, and it was blown out of proportion. People were saying, this is social media. You have to be social. People are humans. And some people are started saying that I'm some kind of entitled tech bro who wants to work his team to death and not allow them to do anything like personal and not be humans but be robots. And I was like, whoa, people, that's not
too many
what I meant.
haters.
Like, yeah. I'm totally supporting everyone's personal lives. I'm totally in favor of work-life balance. Like blah blah blah. I'm just saying that if you want to market yourself as a professional, if you want to grow your personal brand as a professional, you should tweet more professionally and less personal. You're not a movie star, and people want to know like who you go to dinners with and like what's your day looks like. You're not famous for being famous, as they say. You're famous for your knowledge. But yeah, this is debatable, and I'm happy to have a respectful conversation with anyone, like a respectful debate without any accusations. But people on Twitter are nasty.
Yeah, people get crazy.
One other quick thing is we're doing images for our blog articles, and once we did an image when a shaman figure with some kind of musical instrument was dancing around the computer.
Okay.
And some Native Americans got offended. They said, "Are you making fun of our nation?" We were like, "Whoa, no, okay, we'll redesign the outfit of the person." We didn't think that, but that was mostly our ignorance. We didn't realize that dressing someone like a shaman. That was purely ignorance. We said sorry. We changed the picture. All fine. But the thing with my tweet, I think it was totally blown out of proportion. So yeah, these are the things you start to struggle with when you get traction with your brand.
Yeah, I understand, and I think it's also crazy to see how something like quite insignificant can take like really crazy proportion like this. But in the end, I feel like when something gets viral and you have like a lot of haters, it also creates debates. And I feel like all the person on social media, especially on Twitter, were kind of like trolling and being haters and saying all these things. It doesn't reflect bad on you, but it reflects bad on them. So to me, I think in the end, like there is never like bad press, and you should always like keep being like true to yourself, and who you are in the end. Keep an open debate with people that can debate, and if they can't, you just like move on and ignore them, and that's just like another comment on your tweet, which gives you more reach.
Absolutely. It also, from my observation, it never happens in the real life, because as much as I communicated with people while going to conferences and talking to like dozens and dozens of people, whenever I say something, people might disagree with me. I might ask them why. They might tell me their arguments, and I might agree with them. I'm not like a dumb, stubborn person, and I'm happy to change my opinion if you talk to me respectfully. But if you insult me, I'm not going to listen to you. And people on Twitter, they prefer to insult rather than have a respectful conversation. Yeah. So yeah, this is quite ugly, and this is quite stressful. I've listened to a podcast by Joe Rogan, and they learned that he actually never reads any comments on his stuff. And
he doesn't want to waste time.
Good idea.
I think so too.
Just do your thing, put it out online. Yeah. The smart people would learn from you. Maybe like some of your peers who would see that you're saying something wrong, would then educate you, would then tell you, hey, like you tweeted this, it's not correct. And then you can tweet again and say, I think I was wrong in this thing. I changed my opinion. This is how it goes. But you don't necessarily have to get into conversations with those trolls. But I'm still learning it. I still react I take it to heart.
Personally,
I take it personally.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time to take some distance. I had like the same thing on LinkedIn, where sometimes on posts, like people were just getting crazy and not understanding, especially when I was I had a LinkedIn post where I was explaining that I don't believe in work-life balance. That to me, I think like, and some people just got, I had the exact same like reaction as you had, where people were telling me like, yeah, you force people to work too hard, etc. And I'm like, no, I mean, my team like work as much as they want. I don't check the time or whatever. But the truth is, like, me personally, because I don't feel like working ever, like it's my passion, it's my project, it's my baby. I don't need this balance because there is nothing unbalanced. It's like a balance means that work is really tiring and your life should be really cool. For me, it's not the same. Like I just have a life and that's it,
This is the most common gripe of my wife. Whenever we go to vacation, I take my notebook with me. And whenever I have a chance, I just check like what's happening on Basecamp, answer a few emails, like make sure the projects go through, like not needing me. And she's like, why are you doing this? We're on a vacation. And I said, I enjoy doing this. So
exactly.
It's not that I struggle while I'm doing this.
I also have a question. If you could be Ahrefs CEO, what would be like the one thing you would do differently?
I would run the company to the ground probably. No, seriously. Before joining Ahrefs, I was bootstrapping my own stuff. I was working on plugins for WordPress. I was selling plugins for WordPress, and it was moving more or less okay. Obviously, not the same proportion as Ahrefs, but still, for me at the time, it was okay. And my biggest struggle was finding the right developers, because I myself have like practically zero development background. I cannot tell if a person is good or bad at writing code. So when I was paying people to write code for me, I was like looking for people at Upwork, trying to like hire them full time and such. I was hiring terrible people, and I am pretty sure I was overpaying them. With Dmitry, that doesn't work. He himself is an incredible developer. He still codes. Sometimes he would still like do things himself. When he, doesn't agree with what the team is doing and he wants to show like that his way would work, he would sometimes just like go and code the thing himself and it would work. So I think that's probably not the case for every company and every founder, but for Ahrefs, I think it is incredibly important that the founder has technical background and that we have a very strong CTO, because without strong leadership in the technical field and without them picking the A players around them, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I lack this skill set. So with all like marketing stuff, it's the product. It's still the product.
Okay. So anything that you would change if you could be the CEO, like anything that crazy that you would do or no?
I would probably prioritize our roadmap differently.
Okay.
So, but I'm not sure if that would be better or worse. That would be just my subjective opinion. Okay. I would favor some features and some functionality over other things. Also, I have to admit, I'm not as bold as Dmitry. I think sometimes he makes pretty bold moves, which I would be afraid to make. So that is again another very important trait for the founder. And other than being bold, I think he's very mentally stable. So like I said, I tend to be paranoid about things. I tend to be anxious about things. He's very mentally stable. So he makes decisions. He stands by them. He doesn't hesitate. That's very important. So I wouldn't be a good CEO for that particular company. Maybe for some different company, I would be a good fit. But for Ahrefs, no, I think I'm at the right place.
You're at the right place. That's cool. Just to finish like this episode, 3 fire questions for you. So first one, favorite book or podcast?
Podcast right now, probably Joe Rogan, because it's not that I listen to every episode, but I check for the kind of guests he have, and sometimes he have very interesting people who I enjoy listening to from all the areas of life, whether it is, cryptocurrency or a war between Israel and Palestine and such. So very, very good podcast to just learn more about the world in general. Book, one book that comes to mind right now, I've read quite a few and many of them are good ones. More of them are terrible. So it's like easier to point in a book. It would be probably terrible. So one book that comes to mind is Perennial Seller by Ryan Holiday. A pretty cool book about creating the work that lasts.
Nice. And favorite Bootstrap founder and why? And you can't say Dmitry. I know you love him a lot, but
to be honest, I don't know that many Bootstrap founders. So that's the problem. And in the past 2 years, I didn't have a chance to network properly with people, like go to conferences and meet people. So unfortunately, I cannot answer this question. I don't know.
You can say my name. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. And favorite thing to do to regain your motivation during the hard times?
My kids.
Nice.
My kids. It's probably very trivial thing to say, but somehow I realized that when I'm being silly with my son or like holding my baby daughter, I have like bursts of happiness. And like, I don't know, it's incredible. Maybe I'm just getting older and like all the other things are not as enjoyable anymore. And you start to psychologically connect with kind of the next generation, which is in a way part of you and all that. But yeah, I think that the best thing that helps to kind of reset my mental powers is kids.
Awesome. Well, Tim, thanks a lot for being on the show. It was really a cool conversation, and I'm sure that everyone will get tons of value from it. Where can people follow you? I think Twitter is pretty active, but do you have any other preferred mean of communication?
Thanks a lot for inviting. Hope we will make Joe Rogan jealous with this episode.
I hope so too.
People can find me on Twitter. This is where I'm the most active, at Team Soulo. And yeah, please don't insult me on Twitter. Let's have respectful conversations.
Tim is nice, guys. He's really nice. Don't be mean with Tim.
Thank you.
All right. Have an amazing day. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Bootstrap Stories, the only podcast where Bootstrap entrepreneurs share their journey in all transparency. If you enjoyed this episode, don't hesitate to leave us a review. And in case you want to see the interview, all episodes are live on the Guillaume Moubesh YouTube channel. Check out the link in the description and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Have an amazing day and make sure to also join us in our amazing Bootstrap community where we all help each other to become successful and grow a profitable business. Take care and talk to you soon.